straight up went 5, 3, 2, 1.
That's right.
Riverside has not learned Sesame Street at all.
No.
They have not been on that programming.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 37 of On the Back Hash. I'm your Cedric. And with me today is Chris and Will and Zach.
Hello.
For today, how's everybody doing on this fine day?
Good, man.
It's raining.
You know what? I cannot complain.
I wouldn't do no good.
We got state testing, so I didn't have to make any lesson plans.
Oh, we don't start till Wednesday, so.
You do those?
Shut up.
Listen, sometimes it's just walking in.
Even if you had to make lesson plans, they wouldn't know what you were talking about.
I'm supposed to. I just don't. But the kids get better. I don't know how.
I'm writing a letter right now.
Go ahead. My job's already been posted.
Yeah, it really has.
Oh man,
my phone blew up
right there.
My phone blew up. Everyone was like, "Yo, said leaving." I was like, "Where'd you hear that?" And like, there's screenshots, all this kind of stuff. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna straight up ask because it was a good time.
That was insane because I was just sitting here chilling that day.
He said, "That's news to me."
Yeah. And another band director in the state was like, "Hey, man, your job's posted." I was like, "That's news to me."
Imagine President-elect.
We can't pay for this gold medal. We can't.
Well,
we gotta.
People.
Well,
and see, that was the thing. People. You know, I'd have to admit, I've been on a little bit of a streak here. I hope I just don't come crashing down or nothing like that. But I mean, I've had some success over the past 4 or 5 months, and so I think the thought process for some people was like, well, dang, he was like, all right, I'm doing this and I'm out. I'm about to
leverage.
Texas. Yeah, like. It was funny thing about it is I don't even go on our job search website. Like I couldn't tell you how to find where jobs are because I don't look. Like I'm just like I'm good where I'm at.
Yeah.
But no, that happened, and like the next day, I was getting texts and phone calls like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" I was like, "I think it was a clerical error." I talked to my principal, and he acted like he didn't know what was going on. So I think I'm good.
That's a huge clerical error. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Especially in the band world, like, especially when there's like one position per school, like everyone knows who that is. Like, it's
yeah.
So that's crazy, man.
It was weird. Like it's like, well, if I wasn't in the rumor mill before, I am now.
Yeah.
I still don't know if it's still up or not. My principal, because I texted him, I said, "Is there something you need to tell me?" He's like, "That's weird." I was like, "Yeah, it's weird." like what? I mean, I thought I had a pretty good year, man. Good observations, like. But then also in our district, they can move you wherever they want.
They really can, yeah.
So then said they could.
You can move within the district. The superintendent can just. Yeah. You're not employed to a school. You're employed to the district. So that happened in our district recently.
If they think you are better served in a different school building, they will ship to you.
I know they've done that to a couple principals. Move them back into the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a good time.
Yeah, that was a fun, adventurous week. But yeah, it's been good. So enough for my news. Let's talk about some other news. DCI, I guess, is trying to be like the NFL and just be year round with news and such.
Yeah, it's definitely DCI season for sure.
Just finished up April camps and lots of videos. I know you can't really tell a lot from videos and stuff like that, but But the hype video game is stepping up, man. Bluecoats one got me excited, man. I was like, man, this is nice. But speaking of Bluecoats, Chris, you want to talk about what they got coming down the pipe?
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting. I think this came out a couple weeks ago, April 28th. FloMarching and the Bluecoats are, I would say, partnering up. I would say that's a good way of saying it. But they are going to debut their show exclusively on FloMarching, but not at a contest. Like we usually see, like our opening day, our opening, season thing. They're actually going to have their own stream of their community celebration happening on July 1st out at Mount Union. So it's going to have a whole bunch of stuff on there, like, different ensembles and different stuff that going on with the core, that kind of stuff like that. And then finally, Bluecoats debuting their show, which we all know Bluecoats like to wait till like August to give us the idea of the show anyway. So they're doing that. And then the other interesting thing about this is that not only will this happen this year, but they have kind of like a contract with them to where they'll debut their season show until through the 2027 year. Which is really interesting. So they have like a 4-year deal with FloMarching to display their opening shows, which is really interesting to see how this is going to unfold.
Yeah, sounds like they're gonna, instead of go to a premiere show like they normally do in theaters, they're just gonna do their own thing. Because I feel like a lot of people go to watch that premiere to find out what the Bluecoats are doing. Like, it's nice. Yes. Like, I go to see everybody else, but that's when it's going to happen. And when you're going to get to see their ridiculous costumes that they've come up with. So it's interesting to get the all eyes on me from them.
Well, also, it does have like other cores too, Columbus States are going to be there. Cincinnati Tradition is going to be there. Rogues Hollow Regiment, and then Richmond Drumline, and then this thing called the Bluecoats Alumni Ensemble Legacy Arc. They're going to play, so they'll have an alumni core there. And then Rhythm and Blue, and then they'll perform. Then. So, it's like for 2 hours, actually 3 hours.
Dang.
That's when how long it's going to be. So, it's almost like it's all mini like event, like show, you know what I mean? Like what you would see on like a random Tuesday night, just a bunch of cores getting together in some place and doing their thing. So, how do y'all feel about that? What do you think?
So this is taking place July 1st?
July 1st. Yep.
When is opening day?
28th.
Okay, so it's
June 28th. Yeah.
So it's not. Does that seem late? Or is that right?
No,
it's always the last week of June.
The premiere is always around my birthday, so
it's always my wife and I's anniversary around the time. This lands on our anniversary this year, so that's how I remember it.
I was just
because I always kind of have to.
I remember the start of DCI, or is how I remember your anniversary.
That's I'm not going to disclose that information. So,
I'm calling right now.
I guess I'm just thinking of the many years that I did fantasy drum corps, and it started a week or two earlier. I was just like, that seems late, but I guess not. So July 1st isn't. They're only waiting like 3 extra days to premiere their show. We've seen a lot lately that, or we've starting to see. I shouldn't say it's happened a lot, but we're starting to see people kind of doing different things to maybe premiere the show or get behind the scenes on things. With the troopers, with their show release event and things of that nature. And of course, they used a donation marker to use that, and I'll be interested to know how well they did with that. I wonder who's paying who to do this. I wonder if
that's what I was thinking too.
Well, I know cadets with their recent news, like they put on social media, they're like, if you want to hear the music or see what repertoire we're playing this year, if we can get X amount of donations, we'll reveal that. So I think that's a kind of smart and easy fundraiser.
You're because people want to know stuff, and if they can, a lot of these people donate to these scores anyway, in some kind of form or fashion anyway, and dropping $10 so they can get some information early, just so they can be like, I know what the debt's doing. You don't. People do that. So it's cool to see some creative ways of not only getting their show out there, but fundraising too, because people want to do that. I think this is really cool. I wonder. We'll see how it goes this year. It's almost like you're just getting to watch somebody's, for lack of a better term, like parents' night.
That's what I said. It's what it feels like. It's like a elevated parents' night, like family and friends' night. Like that's kind of what it is. You made the NFL comment, and I was like, man, Bluecoats might as well do like Hard Knocks.
Oh boy, I was.
They actually are, because they had that riffs and revelations from last year on FloMarching. I think this was called riffs and revelations. Revelations. There we go. Good Lord, I couldn't get it out. So they do have stuff like that. So
yeah, FloMarching is FloMarching.
They're getting into the behind the scenes game.
Blue Devils have done it for a while with their BD 360.
Yeah,
but you have to go through their site to get it. I think FloMarching is marketing thing, and we're not sponsored by them or not, but they are the ones that are kind of leading the charge on some stuff. But like they are doing some really, really cool things with stuff like that. I remember a couple of years ago, after like big shows or after certain shows, they would have like a little talk show after the show. I think it would be before the show and after the show. Just talking about what they saw.
FloMarching, if you're watching, you got 4 guys right here to be really good at
it. Well, I don't know. They had some. I mean, our buddy Jeremy Hunt was on there. Who is now? Where is he at? He's with somebody.
Is it? It ain't cadets, is it?
No,
it's not cadets.
Oh no, I have to look. But I also know I think he does WGI some this year too as well. But he just landed a gig with somebody big. I can't remember who it was. But no, FloMarching's got all of these like little vignette things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's where I think. Go ahead, Sid. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say if they could advertise those just a little bit more, because I just forget that they're things. So if they could just, they got our email addresses, just pop them out. Hey, watch this week's episode of Risks and Revelations. See what Bluecoats are up to, or whatever it's going to be called next year. I'm sure they've sending people to these camps and doing things like that. So if they could just lock in somebody like on a regular basis, I know that's tier fees and it's money to get somebody to follow a core in all season, and staff, but they may have something they can do. I mean,
I was gonna say, I think that's the next. Cool. I think that's the next kind of evolution of media consumption for DCI and WGI for that matter. Just with FloMarching is like getting a lot of people crave that behind the scenes stuff, and it doesn't have to be like, I don't know, some a lot of cores are kind of probably skittish about that. Like, well, you might give away some of our secrets and the stuff that we're trying to come up with, blah 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 blah. But I think just understanding like what camp looks like, and
Well, I mean, in some of these cores, their social media teams are already doing these things.
Yeah.
So they need to Flo and the social media crews for these cores need to get together and be like, all right, here's what we're going to send you this week.
But like also like Will was saying, something like Hard Knocks that kind of like follows a core around it. And I mean, to be honest with you, I'm just going to put it out there. I think fan wise, it's smart that FloMarching is doing Bluecoats. Like I feel like that's kind of the core right now for a lot of people. Like they're doing the crazy wacky stuff. They're doing like they're on the edge of kind of that kind of stuff, and I think people really want to consume that and really want to see that happening.
Well, there's also the big anticipation of, well, what are they going to do? And we know we have to wait until the last possible minute to find out. So why not make a big spectacle out of it and have your own show?
Yeah, and also think that I think it'd be cool and I might have it on here. I haven't been on FloMarching very much lately because there's really nothing going on. But like DCI's been putting out those little videos of like the coordinators, like the drill designers or music designers or whatever, arrangers, watching one of the shows and kind of go over that kind of stuff. That'd be kind of cool if like FloMarching kind of put some of that stuff on there too. But like during the season, like get the cadets, music arranger. Okay, this is what we're thinking here, 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 and here. I know they're very busy or whatever, but like, just stuff like that. I think adding to just watching the show, but the extended stuff could really be something that can bring a lot more value to the subscription. So like, I know for us, we watch so much that like it pays for itself regardless. But like for a lot of people, dropping either that monthly or that yearly subscription it's a pretty big chunk of change if you're not watching regularly. But if you have like stuff without just the shows, but like stuff that you can produce here and there as you go through. So like talking to your arrangers, like what do you talk about this part of the show, or having a pre-show or after show or a podcast hashtag on the back hash that could like really go through stuff and add some more depth to the programming already. I think could really not only help DCI but really help FloMarching get there. So maybe that's what they're trying to do with this stuff that you're seeing here, by giving that exclusive kind of content. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if this branches out to any more cores or we start seeing more content added to the library.
DCI, and you might have said this, and I just missed it. But DCI here lately has been, I think they're in cooperation with this thing called Stride TV.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been doing those like interviews with like the creative team and the drill design people and all that stuff, and talking about like what you're seeing and why they decided to go that route and what changes they made. That's some cool stuff.
Yeah. Maybe like a ride along during the middle of the season or something like that. Where, it's hard to get of course, in like lots of action sports, it's, you got your color commentary, something like that. If you could have, at one show, have a staff member go to the press box and put on the headset and like, this is what we see or why we're doing that. But you would almost want to have that as an option, because there's some people that don't want to hear that while they're watching the show for the first time. But if you can have because you have the multiple feeds, you have your multicam and the overview. Maybe on one of them you like, all right, this person's going to be talking over it. That was kind of one of the cooler things that the DVDs used to do. Was they had like a designer from the that one of the audio tracks of the designer talking about the stuff that you saw on the show.
See, that stuff's cool, man. I think.
The Cavalier said.
Oh, Cavies? Okay.
That's who I had to, because it was going to irk me.
So Jeremy Hunt's with the Cavies now.
Yeah.
I think they're just excited about that. I knew he was with somebody big.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I just think, a perfect example of this. Now we're nowhere near the scale of that DCI was, but Netflix has an F1 documentary that kind of follows like those F1 drivers and like get the storylines and stuff like that. And like the popularity of F1 has really exploded because of that. So, maybe you don't put it behind a paywall. Maybe you just have a YouTube channel that has that kind of stuff on there. I don't know, but I just think that that's the next step to bring in more people, because more people want the behind the scenes stuff of what's going on. I mean, I really enjoy it. So
I think it's also a good thing for people who might be new to the activity. So if they get a behind the scenes look and kind of the purpose for what's going on and how it comes together, rather than just watching it and going, oh, that's cool, I wish I knew more. Well, here you go. You can learn how they came up with this design, how they decided on a name, how they picked the music, and all that good stuff as well.
And they're worried about secrets, just on NDAs. You know.
Yeah. And I think that's how, we're talking like big picture, grandiose thoughts and pipe dreams. That's the word I was looking for. But that type of content would be the one that would get you on an ESPN or ESPN2 or Bally Sports or something like that, where obviously you can't put it on prime time, but you put it on at 10 11 o'clock at night. People got DVRs and stuff now. You can watch TV basically whenever you want. That's, and they see that constant number because especially to get behind the scenes and to know about some stuff that's going on. DCI folks would get into it. They would definitely try to follow it and do what they can to watch it.
Or just like simple like lot in the lot, like just producing stuff like that to put on FloMarching, like just like,
well,
I know percussion's a big thing, so like just having stuff like, I know like copyright and stuff can be kind of crazy with that, but
the YouTube game on that is so strong now.
That's true.
With the lot stuff, that's hard. People want the drama. People want to hear the people getting yelled at in rehearsal. Injuries. I'm serious. I mean, you're
true. Yeah, that's right. I want to hear it too. Yeah, so
I mean, that's what people want to see and hear, and people trying to struggle and stuff like that. Like they'd have to pick the right group. I mean,
well, like remember when we got the behind the scenes feed with Bluecoats? Was it Bluecoats where they were running a rehearsal? And like the drum major was mic'd up, and so like we got to see how their rehearsal space worked. Like from the tower to the drum major relays that back to the group, and then they go. Like that's some good stuff, because then if you're a band director or you're a staff member, you can see that and go, oh, that works. I want to try that with my kids. Like one of the smallest details that I noticed is from that, however long it was, I don't even remember why we got to see that. Was that during COVID?
I think so.
The Bluecoats thing?
Or around there.
Yeah, that was the COVID year. That was the Lucy show.
Lucy. Yes. So like one of the smallest details that I picked up on that I thought that is could be a game changer is when they were speaking to a specific section, that section raised their hand to acknowledge that they were listening and they knew that they were being spoken to. Because that's one of the things that kills me with like our kids in our ensembles. Like I'm speaking to the brass and 3 of them are listening and the rest are playing in the dirt or whatever. It's like, all right, when I say high brass or low brass, I need all their attention and whoosh, like this, so that you are acknowledging that you are being spoken to. Now, whether you're actually listening to that, whatever, but
you're more likely to.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like the same practices we use in class.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's something that's been out for a while too, though.
But I would have never heard seen it.
Yeah, and that's
until I saw it then, unless you're in the activity.
About to say, yeah, and a lot of it, that has transferred to indoor, man, years back. Like years, like I'm talking about, like man, like maybe 2008, 2010 or somewhere. I know I went to an MCM rehearsal, and it's basically the same thing. I went to an audio theater rehearsal, and they do the same thing. A lot of bands do that, like especially if you're somebody that came from core, you're probably teaching your group that. And then there's a lot of times where some groups don't do that. I know I tried to implement it at Russellville, and they just weren't having it. I was like, well, y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. So it would have to interest enough people to make a huge impact, because some groups, man, they just got their own philosophy.
Yeah.
Well, there's many ways to skin a cat, and
that too.
I've seen. I always tell people, half jokingly, but I always tell people, like, you can learn just as much of what not to do watching me teach than you can what to do. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no one right way to do it. Ultimately, teaching is a people business, and you have to know your personnel, and you have to know how you can talk to them. Some kids respond to being, hard-nosed, yelling and screaming and stuff like that all the time. Some kids need to be built up the entire time. So, like, you have to know the type of kids that you have. Your group has to have a personality, and then you have to stick to it. And, the people who are with it will come, and you'll get those top-notch people that work that way. And the people aren't, they'll go somewhere else, or. But you try to find a nice balance between the two. But you got to be who you are as a leader, and your staff has to be that same way, and that likes that mindset too. But
I was going to say one more thing about the Bluecoats thing before we move on. But I think one thing that's going to be interesting is that they're doing this for 4 years, so it's still through 2027. So it'll be interesting after that, or maybe before that, if this is something that goes really well, if we'll see more cores have an exclusive opening night on FloMarching, like, Blue Devils doing it, or, Cadets or Boston, another.
Or the traditional opening night, big, loud, live, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Moving away from the theater and being exclusively on Flow.
Yeah.
Because honestly, for us, when we go, we see the same 20 people every year. Is it really even worth it for DCI in the theaters? Do they even make money off of it?
They got to be getting something.
Well, that's through yeah, there we go.
Yeah, but I just wonder what attendance is like in other cities.
They wouldn't do it. I mean, they've been doing it forever. What is this? Like the 15th one or something?
Yeah, it's been
crazy.
It's been on a while.
Because you're probably thinking that there's probably less people than we think who actually have FloMarching.
Yeah,
who's willing to pay for that? And then you gotta conduct. Okay, what is the difference from a movie ticket to a FloMarching ticket for that one show?
I mean, that ticket to that one show was high too.
Was it like 15, 16 bucks?
15,
something like that? Yeah,
it is. So, I mean, that's the thing. Because in my opinion, that's why I like the Hard Knocks idea, because I think they should keep the movie thing and then make FloMarching do their own thing, and seek out individual drum corps every year and say, hey, this is your turn. Just like the NFL does.
They just need to be there at like May camp or May and June, you know what I mean? Like
from move-ins till their first show.
Till their first show, and then you just pre-produce it, and you just throw it out all July, and just like have it come out until championships are over.
Just get a couple episodes out of it and call it.
And it could work. It could work in the core's favor. I mean, if you think about that for like a maybe a jersey seller for Genesis
that's a
or
recruiting tool.
Argo. Exactly.
Or like those bubble groups, Colts, Blue Knights, Scouts, Academy, Pacific Crest, like those groups right there that are just missing those few extra little pieces. That could be a huge recruiting tool for them.
I think it's just cool because it puts a face. If you can do like how Hard Knocks does it, it's going to put a face to some of these performers, and get you rooting for them. You know what I mean? Like just the day in life, what they're going through, and I mean, it doesn't have to be anything like really bad. I mean, you can propaganda it up all you want to, and like make it all nice and all the time, but just show them what people are going through, and some of the stuff that happens in the cores. It just be good, just good to watch. I think for a lot of people.
Yeah, everybody wants to see how the sausage is made.
Yep.
And anything that they could give us would be helpful. So I mean, lots of cool ideas, and I think they're moving in the right direction. It's just going to be a matter of some cores like to take charge of that stuff and let the media or let the people know what they want to know when they want to know. BD is a great example of that. Bluecoats is a great example of that. You can tell by their social media outlets as well. So it's just a matter of maybe somebody who needs the help of FloMarching to get that stuff out there would be a good idea to have something like that.
Because you can think about it, there's a lot of NFL groups that still have not done it, and I think they're not doing it on purpose.
Titans.
No, yeah, they won't do it. Yeah.
Like I'm dead serious. I really think there's a lot of teams out there that are just not doing it on purpose. I know.
Some are afraid to open up that door to show what's going on. You know what I mean? So
I don't know if it's that. I mean, that probably could be.
Well, they don't want the distraction.
I think that. Yeah. I think that's where it kind of boils down to. In my opinion, because I told somebody before, I was like, "This is the first year I've ever thought of anything about the Lions," and to me, they had the best Hard Knocks I've seen to date. That staff and those coaches for that team for this past season or whatever year has been remarkable. I was like, that is like top level type coaching type stuff. So, and now look at all of the trading and stuff that they've done and whatnot and stuff. And now look at what the team's been. They might be a threat this year. So it's like,
I mean, they didn't suck last year.
They held on way better than I thought they were going to. I ain't even gonna lie. I was like, God, I thought this was going to be in shambles. So I think you just never know.
Yeah, but that's interesting to think about with that particular group and what's going on with them. So we'll see how this transpires over the next couple of years, and heck, maybe over the next couple of months.
yeah,
We don't know what other deals and things are being made with this. I mean, Crown did it during their COVID year. I mean, they. So I mean, the president has been set, so we're just going to kind of have to see where it goes from here. So, speaking of where it goes from here, we got show announcements.
Yeah.
There are quite a few that's out already. So
there's a lot of movement this week.
Yeah,
seems like.
But it's May, man. We got spring training in a couple of weeks. So people are starting to slowly get their stuff out there, and I mean, there's no more secrets anymore. There's no point to hold it. I mean, Bluecoats will hold it just because that's who they are and what they do. But it is what it is. So, Zach, why don't you explain what we're going to do?
Oh, yes. All right, so we're going to call this next section Bop or Flop. So
we're not doing it.
Get out. So we're going to kind of just go through the list and tell you what the show is titled from which groups that we know so far, and just kind of off a first read, whether it's based on the show title or the rep that's been released, or who the core is, whether we think it's going to be a bop or a flop this coming season. Whether it gets us excited or whether we're kind of on the fence about it. So.
And we don't really have a lot to go off of except for what has been told. So, like,
yeah,
that's what makes it awesome.
We could be completely wrong and off, and we don't want to hear your. Well, we do want to hear you in the comments, but we might dismiss you.
You guys follow that Twitter called Freezing Cold Takes?
Yeah,
one of us gonna say
they bring the receipts.
It's gonna be a dang.
I'm sure there's from last year's or one of our first 5 episodes. We all said something that we thought was going to either be really good or really bad, and it ended up being the opposite. It's fine. We're human.
So,
don't act like y'all have never been wrong either, listeners.
Oh, yeah. If you're going to call us out, we're going to call y'all back out right back. So just be ready.
Right.
All right, so let's get to it. We're going to start with the Academy with their show entitled Sol et Luna. Repertoire has not been released yet, and for their program information, it just says until our next eclipse. I'm going in alphabetical order. The first one's not. The first one's for clear.
Wait, is yours in order?
Yep, it's in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Mine's not. I got Cascade.
Got the link in the chat.
Mm.
It's they just use that one for the picture of the story. That one pops back up later. That's why I skipped.
Which makes no sense. Why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Just put DCI 2023 and be done with it. Just leave it
there it is. They wanted a pretty picture.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, their pretty picture, the pixelation is pretty poor.
All right.
So, well, whoa.
We'll get to them in a minute.
Saying.
All right. So, Chris, Academy.
We're going to start with Academy.
We already did. I've started it.
Who's going to go first? I don't know.
You.
So. Me? Me. Okay. Flop. I think I don't know. I don't know, man. Without their rep right now, and man, I don't know.
Can we define flop? Flop does flop mean they're not
levels?
They're not gonna finish better than what they're gonna finish worse than what they did last year. Or, can we define flop? I mean, your flop can be different from everybody else.
Well, hell, I just tried to pick something catchy.
Oh, man,
all right, here we go. All right, we'll find it. Okay, Bop either means we're excited. We need to say this. Bop means that we're excited about what the show is about, right? Or we think that they're going to make some progress this year as far as rankings go. Flop means that we don't know about the show, or we think they're going to fall down. But we have to define that before we do it. Okay. So for mine, it is a flop because I'm not sure this is going to be a good show. I don't know if it's going to be. They found that formula with Drum Corps Bride, and then after that, really haven't seen a whole lot. So I don't know.
Will? Do I need to come to you last? Anything, right?
I don't know. It feels like it might be. I feel like they're going to stay around where they've been. What were they, like 14, 15, 16, somewhere around there?
That was it.
So it doesn't. It's not. I don't know what the best way to describe it. It's not screaming, "We figured it out," maybe. Or you know how you have that show that just, it's not screaming that yet.
You don't hate it.
No, I'm not. I don't hate it.
You just don't know if it's going to move the needle on that.
I don't know yet.
Okay. And you have that.
So is that a bop or flop?
I said flop.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I'm like, no, you can't say all that and be like, okay, I'm done. I didn't hear the flop part. Okay.
All right, that.
As the youths would say, this is giving mid. I think it's going to be very mid. It's going to be
bop or flop. Don't change what we're doing. Either you say you can't make me say it and then change what you're
Let me finish, Kanye. Let me finish.
Right. All up in the stage. Your seat is down now.
I think it's going to be a flop.
Thank you.
I don't know. And I hope they not disappoint me.
Prove you wrong.
Yes, prove me wrong.
Disprove you.
Disprove me. That's what I mean. They might disappoint me. Who knows? But I don't know. It just seems like they're trying too hard. I don't know. I don't know. I just basically looking at a show poster and a title.
Yeah,
why Soul at Luna? Why just not Sun and Moon? Like
because it's drum corps, man. What are you talking about? Like,
right? And because of that, I like the poster. I like the idea of what they could do. I wish I knew what the repertoire was. That would probably get me a little bit more excited about it.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna say it's a bop. I like this change of direction that it could be. It has the potential to be something that I would like with the ethereal colors and things of that nature. So
yeah, hopefully it's a turn. It's a turn away from the kind of whimsical vibe that they've had the last few years. Because yeah,
it does feel very old Blue Knights, like that run that they had a little bit, like that kind of. Like I said, we don't have any idea what they're playing, but that kind of feel to it.
All right. Moving on, Blue Knights, Unharnessed. Repertoire includes Requiem by Verdi, Break On Through by The Doors, Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz, and Freedom by Pharrell Williams. The program information says, join the Blue Knights this summer as we take the music of Giuseppe Verdi, The Doors, and Lenny Kravitz and Pharrell Williams on a journey through overcoming restraint and personal struggles to become unharnessed from that which holds us back. I like the concept. I'm not sold on the rep. I get it. But that's a bit random.
Yes.
I'm gonna say flop, and I don't want it to be. So I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's screaming like it's trying hard because they know what happened last year, and it's giving me flop. And I hate when, I don't know.
That's a lot of pop. That's a lot of pop.
It's what is it? It's a whole 180 from Blue Knights, and I get it, staff changes and all that jazz, but it's rough, man. When you get at that bottom, man, it's almost like you'll reach in the bag and try to pull out anything. Because I don't think I read the repertoire last time I seen it.
I was literally here all for it until I just read the rep, and that's the part that scares me.
Because I hear Unharnessed, and I'm like, okay, maybe they're gonna step some old school or whatever they used to do, or it's just gonna have a lot of energy and maybe some aggressiveness to it.
It's almost like when you read the repertoire, like how it's made, it's like this is exactly how the show is going to flow. Mm-hmm. Like when you read it and you think of what Unharnessed means, you read their program information. It's like they're going to start with Requiem. They're going to go Break On Through, Fly Away, and Freedom.
Yeah, the titles make sense of the songs. Like all of it makes sense. That's just I don't see how you can get any content out of those last three songs.
It's giving me Crown Beast vibes.
I wouldn't even give it that much credit.
I'm going to go ahead and go flop along with you guys. I'm worried.
Like, Will, do you say Beast vibe like they gave it the wrong name?
That, like, I hear the Unharnessed, and then you're going the other direction because that's what Crown did to me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the show was going to be hardcore, aggressive. Let's get in their face. Let's do something.
Well, I mean, even from like the
wasn't.
poster and the font they've chosen, it seems like it's going to be, like you're saying, like it's going to have some edge to it.
Yeah.
And then you look at the rep, and
I'm just interested in how they're going to arrange it. You know, like what's it? Because like Seth was saying, like "Fly Away" by Lenny Kravitz. There's not a lot.
That song is not aggressive.
That like it's like 3 chords and in the
hell with
song,
them, you know, because they named it that word and they used that one clip from that song basically. So I mean, they could only just be, you could just hear the voiceover of Lenny Kravitz and not even be playing the song. Does that make sense?
I hope not.
I don't know.
Moving on, Boston Crusaders with their show The White Whale. They're playing every song.
Hype video, by the way. Just want to say that if you haven't seen it.
I haven't watched that yet. I think I watched it on mute, so I didn't really get it. But they're playing a lot of stuff. Fantasia on the Theme by Thomas. I like Ray Williams. Out to Sea. I think that's the original tune. The Well, which is another original tune. Swallowtail Jig. Sea Shanty. The Wallerman. That's going to be a crowd favorite. Show Me the Way to Go Home by James Campbell. Go Kentucky. Shipping Up to Boston and On the Waterfront. Pretty long program information. I'm not
It's going to be 9 days from this past year.
Just say Moby Dick. If you know Moby Dick, that's all.
So we're doing Moby Dick, but we're not doing Moby Dick. But it's Moby Dick.
Oh, not this again.
It's Moby Dick. We're gonna have a whale. We're gonna have a whale.
It's
on
Animal
the
Farm, but it's not Animal Farm.
We're gonna have a guy named Ishmael, but he's not gonna be Ishmael. It's gonna be, and there's gonna be a white whale, but there's not. It's not Moby Dick. It's not.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna say it's a. I'm gonna say it's a bop. They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Every time I'm worried about the show getting too cheesy for them, they find a way to figure it out. So, bop for me.
I will go with. I'm gonna say flop because it doesn't get me excited, but I'm confident that it will be a good show. But me personally, this doesn't get me pumped. I was way more excited for the last 4 shows.
I'm going to say the opposite. I'm going to say bop because it does make me excited because it is different than the other 4 shows that they've done so far. Or that edgy. I want to see if there's going to be edgy or not. That's what I'm interested in. Like,
what's edgy about a whale?
It's not.
Man, you don't know. You don't know. There could be some edgy stuff, you know.
What, some barnacles?
But like just some like I think it's just going to be a like that's why I said it's going to be. I think it's going to be different than what they've done before the last couple of years. But like just like if you read the program information, just some cool stuff about like different. It says like exploring the realms of philosophy, science, history, and politics with intrigue and insight. So like. What's it going to be? You know, like I think it's going to be like an explorative type thing, a little bit different what we've seen. And then like the songs are all over the place, and I love it. And I think that's what's cool about it.
Well, they're not really all over the place. The selections all make sense.
Well, yes, but what I mean by like genre, like what's going on in each of these, I think it's going to be really cool. Because like Dropkick Murphys, like that shipping on the Boston's like the national anthem for, you know what I mean? Like, this would be really cool to see. And then you got, Bernstein right there behind it, you know.
Well,
I think it'll be about.
Reading the program notes gets me excited about it.
Yes, the title does not.
But I think they had to name it that because they couldn't just call the show Moby Dick.
Yeah.
This is the line in the program information that makes me laugh because we're just kind of talking about this. It says, the Boston Crusaders 2023 show makes a geographic connection to the Corps' home in Massachusetts while also drawing parallels to the white whale metaphor. It's Animal Farm, but it's not Animal
Not
Farm.
Animal
That's exactly what makes me think that.
All right. Moving on, the Cadets will be performing their show called Atlas Rising. Repertoire includes "What Are You Going to Do When You Are Not Saving the World?" with some Hans Zimmer. Cornelius.
I don't know how you say that.
Another Hans Zimmer miss.
Cora
Immortal, I
North.
can say that one. Yeah, Cora
North.
maybe.
Mihoy Minoi.
In defeat by Lee Bettis and Andrew Martino. So, strength does not come from physical capacity; it comes from an indomitable will.
I'm gonna say Bop.
I was gonna say Bop as well.
I'm gonna say Bop.
I mean,
I feel like they're gonna. I feel like they're going. It's going to be.
This seems very cadetish
with sound.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's going to be packed with sound.
I like the momentum they had coming off of last year, and with Vanguard not going out this year, I think they have a really good chance of doing some special stuff. I think so. That's what makes it a Bop for me. And I always like cadet sound, like Will was saying. I think they just do a good job with that.
I'll go Bop.
I'm here for it.
So. The Cavaliers. From the show where you'll find me. No repertoire, which I can probably almost guarantee you that Over the Rainbow will be in there. And no program information.
So this is for the 75th anniversary, right? Yep.
I like the artwork.
Are you ready for this one?
I need to see some rep.
I feel at this moment this is going to be a flop.
Retweet.
Because this is why. They literally just did a show about themselves like what?
COVID year.
No, even the year before that. They did the
Listen, that COVID year show was fire.
I love that show.
I promise you
But
that opener.
They did that they did the rainbow show.
What was it Madness called? Men or something like that.
Yeah.
Something, yeah. Madness and
like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Now the staff that's there makes me have hope. I don't know. I don't know at this moment.
I'm saying flop just because I don't have a set list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to see what this set list is.
Yeah.
A lot of anniversary shows can be entertaining and still a flop.
I think for some people, and I might be one of those some people, for what they typically do, when you think about their glory days, I guess, early 2000s and such, that picture does not match that.
No.
And so, I don't know. I'm gonna reserve thoughts. Maybe just set list to get me pumped, but as of right now, I can't roll with it. Genesis Symbiosis. That's an interesting looking poster there. Composed music from Stravinsky, Tomita Heap, and John Mackey, and some original works by Ki Poulon. That pretty lengthy program information. It's about AI in the future.
It's giving me Crossman vibes, and it's going to be a flop.
Zach, are you reading my mind? Like, exactly what I was going to say. Oh, man. We're in sync right now.
That's all you got?
Yeah. I just like Stravinsky. 10 out of 10, probably going to be Rite of Spring. Imogen Heap, only a song anybody does with hers is Hide and Seek. So, John Mackey, what we're going to have, oh hell. What's his, the one that everybody else plays all the time? Oh, all I can think of is Frozen Cathedral. Well, that's not what it's going to be. I don't know. I just.
Now, what would bring me around? Maybe this is a bop. They have Chat GPT screen on the field, and it says, "Write me a drum corps show," and it's just like, then I'll be all about it. But
you're gonna see a high school group do that, and it's not gonna be good.
Yeah, and see, that's what this feels very high schoolish to me.
Asphalt Cocktail. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, I just. Or Wine Dark Sea. Is that him?
I don't know.
Yeah, Wine Dark Sea. It gives me feel and vibe.
Where they are currently sitting, for them, the show will be a bop. I think it's gonna be different. They're not afraid to try some stuff.
Well, and guess what? If it does work out well for them, I'm happy. It didn't affect me, but from my first read on this, it does not give me. I don't get excited by it.
Teacher,
I just knew at some point somebody was going to do something with AI.
Oh yeah,
with all the talk, and I was hoping nobody would.
Me too, man.
So I'm gonna say flop. But I can't agree with you said where they are. I think it will be good. I think in general. I mean, obviously you can say this with everybody, but for them in particular, they'll have a good season. I think they'll have some cool enough stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this list too, and I was saying the same thing. I was like, there's not a lot of songs people do by Imogen Heap and Igor and all them, and it's like I'm just praying maybe they go deeper into the crates and actually pull something out that's different, because you get sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
You get sick of it, and you do. Everybody's just recycling everything. It's like, okay, use those people. They are great composers, great artists, great singers, whatever. But god dang, they have other stuff. Everybody has other stuff, but everybody wants to keep recycling everything. And I get it. It may have worked for that group, and it got to the top, and this, that, and the other. But really, there are millions of people out there. We can't find nobody else? Okay. I ain't going to get on that soapbox, but I'm just saying.
It's hard to be fresh and original, man. People don't want to take that risk. So, all right, moving on. Music City. Doing a show. Whoa, what? Huh? What?
He's probably watching hockey or something.
Did I scoot down too far? I did.
I was like, Music City is in Nashville. What are you talking about?
Lord.
During the show, Violent Delights, A Rose and Its Thorns. No repertoire yet. And the program information says, a rose blooms with beauty and grace. Its thorns, a reminder of life's embrace. For in its death, its beauty is gone, but its thorns remain a legacy strong. I'm going to say bop just because they made some moves. They were like the Texans on draft day. Like, right. They have assembled a staff that that they're trying to break into this next tier. And I'm here for it.
I will go along with you. I think this is going to be a bop.
Yep. I agree, bop. And I will bet that they play Every Rose Has Its Thorn.
If they don't, I'm walking out. You had one job.
Right, that's true. That's true.
One job.
You better call Scott Michael right now and get him down here to sing it. That's what needs to happen. Or Brett Michaels. Why say Scott Michaels?
Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. That's what I think I had in my head. I had Office and Poison in the same.
Oh man.
Willie, any thoughts? Now, did you know they're in Tennessee?
What? Not at what?
Bop or flop for Music City.
I was saying, what did Cedric say?
He said, "Now that you know that we're in Tennessee, because you scrolled too far."
The same.
All right. Now we're in Seattle.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Why does the picture look better here than it does at the top?
Because it's not as big.
Yeah, it's probably the resolution.
It looks like it's the exact same size.
Oh well. It's a nice picture.
It is a nice picture. So, welcome back, Seattle Cascade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doing their show appropriately named Revival. Music is Bad Moon Rising, Stained Glass, Angels in the Architecture, and Revival by Eminem. This is a juxtaposition of stuff. Good God Almighty. We have returned. We have resurged. We have remained. We are revived.
I'm saying bop because I'm glad they're back. Let's go.
I like the lit. I do.
It'll be a decent bop.
That's
It may not do much. And being gone and coming back like that is rough.
It'll be a bop for them just because they're coming back, but that's a hard show. Golly. That's tough lit.
I'm about it.
They must know something we don't. That
I'll agree with y'all, Bob, because it's going to be a return for them.
next up, Spirit of Atlanta. Doing their show Up, Down, and All Around. Music includes Drop 12, What Goes Up, Metroliner, Stuff We Did, and My Human Heart by Coldplay and Jacob Collier.
Jacob Collier alone right there. Like, should.
So, this is the type of show that I would want to like.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to see how they're going to do it.
And that's kind of the way I was feeling about the Seattle show, too. Like, in Spirit, like, I know.
Spirit's coming back, too.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And, like, I feel like Spirit has had some really good ideas on paper, but it hasn't showed up on the field. But we also know that there were lots of things going on preventing that as well. But the title alone gets me excited for them, but I don't really know as if it's going to pan out to what we think it might.
The title gives a lot of room for interpretation, which is fine because it lends itself to a lot of ideas that just has to be thought about and executed. So.
I'm gonna say flop. To me, this show's gonna come down to them just in execution.
I'm with you, Will.
It's gonna be like a BD show. You may hate it, but they'll probably do it really well.
So, and last show that we are aware of,
Bob.
Already, I had to say it.
I mean, okay, the Pioneer doing their show.
Bob, I don't even care. Bob.
I should do that. The Pioneer. Now the Troopers doing their show To Lasso the Sun. No rep listed. No program information. Just a poster of a man literally lassoing the sun.
Dude, I have a feeling that it can go either two ways. Either it's going to be they're
A
about
bop
to,
or a flop?
yes, they're about to punch through. They're about to punch through that final ceiling again, and they're about to make some big noise and knock some people out, or it is going to knock them hard. I don't know. I'm all about the bop. I think I'm excited about it. I think they got some good momentum. Them getting this show out early means they already had this idea, so this is good.
Yeah.
I think.
I think it'll be a Bob because they've been pretty decent with storytelling, and this kind of screams that a little bit. And I said it all season. They had my favorite number one with no doubt favorite uniform of all the whole season. So if they get the color scheme right for this one too, like they did last year, that's a bop all around.
I still want one of those uniforms.
There's nobody better.
It was perfect. I'm gonna go with bop as well. Was it them that said they had like just an outrageous number of people at their audition camps?
I think so. I think you're right.
So that right there, I mean, that sounds very promising for them. And it just feels like they've got a lot of good momentum, like you said, and they have a lot of momentum, not just like as a core, but from fans.
Yes.
So don't hate me.
Go ahead.
You better just back out now.
But here's the thing, man. What did we say? Academy had that show of
Perfect Storm.
Was Brad.
It's
Perfect
true.
Storm. And the expectations are high, and it's hard to bring that type of magic 2 years in a row with the caliber that you're bringing in. I hope, maybe the excess number or the extra kids that they got, maybe they're able to sustain the talent. I don't know how many they lost or aged out, but I mean,
it's hard.
unpopular opinion, but
Well, I mean,
I think it's gonna bop. I'm just playing with y'all.
I'll say, don't get.
I mean that is a fair point because we have seen it. It seems like
yes, it is.
the only group recently
The
that hasn't had that happen to them is Mandarins.
Yeah.
But I feel like low-key it's going to happen to Colts, which makes me sad. But we don't even know what they're doing yet either. But I feel like between Troopers and Colts, if one of those two groups that made it into finals last year for the first time in forever is going to miss it.
Well, I mean, with Vanguard gone, there's a spot. So, I mean, but I mean, you still got Crossman, you still got Blue Knights, all them in there too. So, I mean, it's once again, here we are. We're going to see. I just think that Troopers they're going to knock some people off again this year. I think
I'm here for it.
Good momentum.
Well, they have found. I was just gonna say they found that they can do Americana, but they still can make it exciting. Because I looked at that poster and was like, this is Red Dead Redemption. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna have John Wayne out there.
I mean, I'm serious. It's like they found out they can be a little edgy on some stuff and still keep the identity of what the group is about. Which is cool, because if you really think, was there any just flat out lighthearted shows last year?
What do you mean lighthearted?
Like just DCI just make you feel good. Like BD Boston.
But
No.
you mean like a soft show? Or
No,
soft,
just
but like
even
like
that
a pretty show.
Yeah, just flat out pretty. Like Bluecoats. Not really though.
Like you mean like you could just sit and watch it and not have to think?
Maybe not have to think, but it just leaves you in a good in a good place as far as like, everything was kind of just, you know, Vanguard ended their show that way, but
Yeah.
it was angsty at the beginning. Um, we don't know what Blue Note show was about. Uh, Cadets did the East West, but it was kind of edgy and like everybody was kind of in their own way. And it sucks because, Vanguard, the year they did Scheherazade, I mean, a couple of years when they had, just flat out purity shows and Blue Nights as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're not seeing it as much anymore. This is why all your high school kids want to do dark shows all the time because nobody knows how to do a fun show right.
Because here's
We're going to have to table that one for another episode.
It sucks that you got to play the game like that, but that's what people are doing. I mean, God, maybe Jersey Surf, maybe
BDC.
Yeah, BDC.
Calgary Stampede.
Yeah,
they have fun stuff.
They do.
They're not like drum corps, but they're very nice people.
They should have made semis.
Johnson, they're not drum corps. They obviously they should make semis. What are you talking about?
They should have won the damn drumline battle too.
Still salty about that one.
Yeah. But anyway, so folks, let us know what you think about the show title so far. What do you think is going to be flops and bops and mids and trids? I don't know. And all the things in between. You can listen to us on Spotify and Anchor. I went out of order, so my brain just jacked up. But you can watch us on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So a lot of places you can find us. If you want to keep up with us, make sure you hit that notification button, sub button, whatever button there is to hit to make sure you support us because it's $3.90 free for now until Zach starts his OnlyFans. Charge for that. So, fellas, you guys, anything else?
No, man. I'm excited. That's all I got to say. I'm ready.
It'll be here before we know it.
Yep. I'm going to say it's May, man. It is May, and it's time to get this going. So, for Chris, Zach, and Will, my name is Cedric. This has been episode number 37 of On the Back Cash. Make sure you guys take care of each other. Enjoy the rest of the school year if you're at school or if you're teaching or whatever. And if not, just,
Pray for your teachers.
Please pray for your teachers. Good Lord. They're about to be standing on their feet, circling around the room, not being able to say anything for the next week while your child is taking a test.
And pray for your children.
Yes. Just pray for everybody.
Everybody.
So, all right. Well, from all of us to all of you, we are Dut.
Out.